Hey, Disney cruisers, and welcome back to the DCL community where we are here to help you plan, prepare for, and get excited for your Disney cruise. You guys know me, I'm Rebecca, your host and admin, and today we are doing a little bit of a comparison. As Disney Cruise Line continues to grow, we have more ships, more destinations. We're also starting to see more and more of these shorter itineraries come out, these 4 and these 5 nights, and lots of questions from a lot of people about what the heck, which one do I choose? So that is what we are talking about tonight. We are doing all sorts of comparisons from you, so feel free to send those in. But as people are coming in, Laura, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself as people are saying hello?
Absolutely. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Greco. I'm with Fairy Tale Journeys. And as you know, cruising is my love, especially with Disney Cruise Line. And I see a lot of the questions about which ship, which itinerary, they're going to the same places. So we thought we would come on here and give it a little chat.
Yes. And if you are struggling, if you are scrolling through Disney Cruise Line's website, because as much as we love Disney Cruise Line, when you get on their website, there's a lot of options. And once you go in and start expanding, it can be so overwhelming. Reach out to Laura. You might not know this, but her planning services are actually free for you to utilize. So she can help you compare and contrast, just like we're going to do tonight. But let's go ahead and let's just kind of start off with what 4 and 5 night sailings are available these days, because it used to just be like one ship doing 4 nights, maybe one doing 5, but there's a lot of options now.
There are a lot of options. So because we have so many ships in the Florida area between Port Canaveral and Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, and we'll go over that too, because Fort Lauderdale is not close to Orlando.
Oh my
So
gosh, yeah.
people are making mistakes, and I see it all the time with flying into Orlando. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
So the two ports are actually hours apart. So with the ships in both areas, we're seeing a lot of 4, 5 night sailings to the Bahamas and to the Western Caribbean, and some doing both private islands over 5 nights. And, we're seeing the ships kind of cycle through because right now we watch the Fantasy. She's right now doing her transatlantic sailing in the middle of that, actually.
Yeah, she's off in Europe this summer. The girl,
The
she's
baby sailing home.
yeah.
She hasn't been in Europe since she sailed here. Well,
Oh,
that's not true. She's been there, but she hasn't done European sailings, I should say.
yes.
She's dry docked at home. She went there
Yes.
during COVID.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Dark time, dark time.
Dark time, dark time. She took crew home during that dark time, but she's actually there for the first time doing actual sailings right now. She's on her way. But while she was here, after the treasure came in to take over the 7 night sailings, she was seen doing 4 and 5 night sailings to the Bahamas and the Western Caribbean. Then in Fort Lauderdale, you have the Dream and the Magic doing 4 and 5 night sailings to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. And that's what we're seeing happen. Soon the Magic will join the Treasure and the Wish in Port Canaveral, doing
Which is
4 and 5 night
yes.
Caribbean and Bahamian sailings. When the
I'm
Destiny arrives,
sensing a theme here.
right? So the Destiny is going to come into her home port in November. Spoiler alert: I'll be on that maiden voyage. Woohoo! Going back to back, maiden in the next one. So she'll be there in November, and then we'll see the Magic scooch on up here to Port Canaveral, where the Dream and the Destiny will be doing those itineraries. So yes, you have a lot of ships to choose from. And I guess that's where you have to decide, what ship do I take?
Yes. And I think we should probably preface with there's not a wrong choice here, right? Like every
Mm-mm.
Disney ship is going to be great. Every Disney ship is going to have princesses and Mickey Mouse and unlimited soft serve. But I think, where Laura's expertise comes in is all the ships have different things that make them special and all the itineraries that make them special. And Somebody's asking, are they still doing San Diego cruises?
Yes, they are. The Wonder is out there. Actually, the Magic is gonna join her because if you haven't heard the buzz, Alaska's gonna have both of those ships, the Magic and the Wonder are gonna both be in Alaska this summer, giving you more sailing opportunities, double the love in out
Yes.
of Vancouver this summer. So or
So
summer
exciting.
'26, not this
Yes.
summer. That's
Yeah.
happening right now. And '26. Um, so we're gonna have those 2 ships over on the West Coast. So San Diego's not gone. No, it's not gone.
Yes, and you can still do those sailings. I know there's the 4 nights that are gonna be happening. I think the Wonder's doing 4 nights in Australia too, and the
Yeah.
Adventure's doing 4 nights. Like, there's 4 nights happening all across the board.
Adventure out of Singapore has 2, 3, 4 night sailings. Australia has 3, 4, 5, um, and has a good sale right now, up to 30% off their sailings.
Oh, good call. Okay, so if any of
It's a good
our
price.
Australian friends are watching, then definitely reach out to Laura. I'm gonna get that's the link that's scrolling on the bottom to her page on the DCL community site, but reach out to her so you can take advantage of those savings. But this is a really great question from Michelle. She's asking if this is my first Disney cruise, should I start with a 3-night or a 4-night? It seems like the best value is a 7-night, which is a very good observation. So with a first time cruiser, where do you start to have that conversation about which itinerary would be best for them?
First time cruisers tend to love the 3 and 4 night cruises because they're really not too sure about, are they going to get seasick? Are my kids gonna like it? Am I gonna like it? So they really that's kinda like the intro to cruising, but the feedback I get on that when they come home is, "Oh, that was too short," because you don't
Yeah.
really get the feel of it. It's like you're on, you're off. Um, I think 3-night cruises are great for locals who can jump on a ship,
Yeah.
it's a great weekend away. Um, I think those are great. Um, but for 4 nights is a good one because at least you get that sea day in there, you get the feel of
Mhm.
what it's like to just sail for the day,
Yes.
and get that private island in there. It's a good way to start. So, yeah, if you're a new cruiser and you're really not sure if you're ready for that 7 nights, 3 or 4 is a good way to start.
Agree. And a good way to dip your toe into the water and get fully addicted. So you can be like Laura and I and just want to be cruising
Just
all the
keep
time.
going.
Yes.
Go, go,
Uh,
go.
and I love Robin saying that she's got her first back to back coming up. So that seems like it's maybe a good way too to kind of try some different things is doing a back to back.
It absolutely is, and now you have the opportunity to do back to back on different ships,
Which is
the
new,
which
like,
is
you couldn't do that years ago.
insane.
Yeah.
Like, you can come in on the well, when the Fantasy was here, you come in on the Fantasy and hop on the Wish and psh, psh,
Yes.
boom,
And
bam.
yes,
Um,
and there's so many hotels to stay by near the port. You can do the Space Center, you can go to the beach, you can have a relaxing day, and then just get right back on vacation. But there were some
it
days when
is
they were literally in port at the same
the
time.
same
It was like,
day, yeah, the Fantasy would come in on a Friday, and the Wish would be right there, so they would just change ports,
that's so crazy. Disney Cruise Line has come so far, and I know one of the big additions over the last year was Lookout, and a lot of people are looking at these
oh,
itineraries and going, "Okay, do I do Lookout in Nassau or do I do Castaway in Nassau? How do you choose?" I know,
well Whew.
I
Sometimes
know,
that's hard, and that's why you jump on those 4 or 5 nights that take you to both, and then you don't have to choose.
so
Um,
true.
you have that ability now. There's always a ship that's doing both. Where you used to get the double dips 2 to Castaway, now they're actually doing itineraries where you go Castaway Lighthouse, and sometimes you do a total skip of Nassau.
Yeah,
Um, to me, you can't compare, do you choose Nassau over a private island? So, Nassau to me is a ship day. some like to get off there, and that's great, but that is a totally different experience than the private island. I mean, that is a port. That is a literal port day, and a private island is a kick your feet up and relax day. So they're two different experiences if you were to ask me. Um, I would always go for the 2 private island days,
Yes. And I mean, I
hands
remember that.
down.
Yeah, I feel like I remember the days when you could have like one double dip for the whole year. It was like one time when
And
one of the
it
yes,
filled. The minute they dropped that itinerary, the one double dip was like the one everybody had to have, and it
yes.
filled as quickly as the transatlantic did.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, so true. And I know the Castaway versus Lookout, it's a
Oh,
hard
that's
one because
hard.
they're both so great. I mean, I just went for the very first time, and Lookout is beautiful.
And
Holy
they're
cow, those
different
beaches.
experiences. So,
Completely.
Castaway is they make you feel like you're literally on a deserted island. You're
Yeah.
shipwrecked, you're on a deserted island. It's all about the beach and that island vibe. And Lookout, it isn't its own private island. Disney bought a piece of it or leased a piece of it. And it's all about Bahamian culture and dance. And, you have people who live there come over and share that culture of that island with you. So it's a totally different vibe. It's not about being a castaway on an island. It's about living that culture. Um, it's and pink sand and turquoise water. It's unbelievable on a reef. It's built up on it. It's just beautiful. So it's hard to choose.
Yeah. Definitely do both if you can. I know a
Everybody
lot.
has to see it. So
Yes.
I would say if you haven't seen it, choose an itinerary, choose a ship and itinerary that goes there so you can experience it.
Yeah. And
That's my suggestion.
Kimmy is saying, I'm afraid that I would miss Castaway. And I can get that completely. I feel like that's what's stopped me from doing some of my bucket list itineraries. I haven't done Alaska yet, which I'm itching to do, but I'm like, but a cruise without Castaway just seems like
I get it.
sacrilegious.
I
Yes.
get it. But because the cruise still comes off with you, because you're still getting the barbecue, because you still have the beaches, you're not going to miss Castaway like you would be going to Alaska and missing the stop or sailing out of Galveston and not have a stop. You're still getting the Disney private island experience. So I can't say that you would come off that island and go, gosh darn,
Yeah.
I missed Castaway, because you still have that island feel.
Yeah.
That's
That's a
just my
Yeah, I feel like Castaway and Lookout can be whatever you want. For me, Lookout leans like slightly more, just like you were saying, cultural, maybe a little bit more nature because there are more excursions that are,
Mhm.
take you to different parts of the island. I know Castaway has a ton of excursions to offer, but because of the weather there, those things don't always happen. So it's like I feel like either way you can get that perfect beach day. So if you are a beach
Exactly.
bum like I am, I would say if you can't get one that does both, you can't go wrong with either one. Like you truly cannot make a wrong choice.
You can't, and they built a fabulous splash pad for the kids on Lighthouse, and they built the cabanas, and they built this beautiful beach area. I don't think you'd miss Castaway. You have nature trails to walk through. Um, I think everybody should go. I think
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
agreed. It is so beautiful. And I love all the different drink options. Like there's so many things to love about Lookout, and I feel like we could do a whole other video on that. But let's kind of compare some of these cruise
Okay.
options. So people, some of you who are watching sent in some questions, so that's what we're going to be going through. If you have something that you want us to compare, let us know. We are happy to. But somebody asked, do you do a 4-day Marvel Day at sea, or I guess it was a 4 or 5-day Marvel Day at sea versus the new ship, so the Destiny? Tough one, I know.
Well, that's a tough one because none of us have sailed the Destiny yet. So
Yes.
it's really hard to tell you. But based on, I mean, Marvel Day at Seas, the theme days at seas, hands down, are epic. And if you
Yeah.
haven't done a Marvel Day at Sea, you should absolutely choose that sailing and
Yeah.
experience it because
Yeah.
everybody should experience it. The Destiny isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So absolutely do that Marvel Day at Sea. They brought it back, do it. And same for that Pixar Day. Do the
Yes.
Pixar Day. They brought it back. People missed it. Do it. Everybody should experience these days at sea. The ships
Yeah.
aren't going anywhere. So, the Destiny's coming. And I myself can't wait to see this hero villains, this Lion King dinner show. I
Yes.
can't wait. Now, personally, I've done Marvel Days at Sea, so I am going to choose the Destiny, but it's because I've done Marvel.
Yeah.
I've done Pixar. I did Star Wars. I've done them all. So I'm going with the Destiny choice.
Yeah.
You should do the Marvel.
I was gonna say, because for me too, I have not done the Marvel Day at Sea, but the Pixar Day at Sea was phenomenal. And everyone who has done Marvel Day at Sea has said that it's one of their favorite sailings that they've ever
It's
done.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
If you are a Marvel fan, do that Marvel Day at Sea.
Yes, and even if you're not, I feel like
Do
the
it.
characters are so engaging, you get an extra show out of it, like, there's so much to do on these theme cruises, so I agree with you. The Destiny's not going anywhere. Heck, if you wait long enough, her prices are probably gonna go down, as new ships continue to come out, so
Right. Like,
Marvel Day at
do
Sea.
the Marvel Day at Sea.
Yes. Okay, so next one was, would you do a 3-night in Feb or a 4-night in January? I'm worried about the weather.
Either of those months. There's nothing, maybe the weather of you flying in, if you're coming from northern areas where there's a lot of snow, January and February, but
Yeah.
the Caribbean or the Bahamas, I don't think it makes that much of a difference,
Yeah.
honestly. I would
Yeah.
just go by your schedule, but
And
there's
I
not that
know
much difference in the weather down there.
I know so many people are asking, "Is it gonna be warm enough to swim? Can I get in the water? What about the pools?" And the the ocean
Pools
will
are
still be
heated. The
yes.
ocean's a little chilly in the winter months, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna be so cold that you can't swim, especially if you're coming from the north. For you, it's gonna be a heat wave. I mean, it's gonna be in the upper 70s, mid 80s in the Bahamas. To you, coming from
Yeah.
0,
Yes.
I mean, it happens when you come to Florida.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine going to the Bahamas.
I was gonna say anything if you're coming from the north, because I'm from Chicago, Laura's from New York, like, we get the cold weather, we get escaping the winter, and I think if you are somebody who loves the beach and wants to be warm, anything is going to be warmer than home unless you're from Florida, right? But
Yeah,
if
I'm in a
swimming
jacket, but
yeah, yes. But I think if swimming and you wanna be in the water, if that's the most important thing, maybe you push it out a little bit more if you just have to be in the ocean, because I mean, I'll say the water is definitely cold for me, but there are plenty of kids that couldn't give a care in the world, right? They don't have a care in the world.
they're
They
in
just
that
wanna swim.
water.
Yes.
They're in that water. I don't think the difference between January and February is gonna make a difference to the water temps.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and I mean, it could rain in January just like it could rain in July, like, it could
right.
rain in any month on any day, so I
Yeah,
agree with you on that one.
I
Uh,
think you could go either way. I would go with what works with your schedule.
Yes, good point. And, there's the holiday weekends that I know MLK and President's Day. So maybe you do. I was going to say do both, which I know is crazy, but do the one that works best. Reach out to Laura. She can price both out for you. And there might be different deals to take advantage of too. I know I was surprised to see the Wish had some guarantee rate rooms over the 4th, which is something.
Crazy.
If you want to travel this summer and you haven't booked plans yet, reach out to Laura.
There's some guarantee rates on the Disney Wish.
Yeah, definitely good to take advantage of. And if you don't know what that means, let us know and we can explain. But somebody else asked, Wish 4 nights versus Fantasy 5 nights.
I know. I'm always a fan of the longer cruise.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me. What's the itinerary? Is the Fantasy doing, like, I would be looking at, to me, it's not the ship, it's the itinerary, because I'm happy on any ship. So to answer that question, I would talk to you about what the itinerary is and which itinerary you're leaning toward. I know what the Wish's itinerary is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Castaway, Nassau, day at sea. The question is, which itinerary is the Fantasy going on? Because if that's doing 2 private islands, ding, I'm doing that.
Yeah, I was going to say, anytime I can be on the Fantasy is a good time, and especially having more days, like any chance you can have more days is always a good thing. And then on 3-day cruises, do they still do the diaper dash since there's no sea day? Yes.
Yeah.
They'll still do. And even with the theme cruises too, they'll still have all the normal events.
It's just crunched. So, the Halloween on the high seas on a 3-night cruise, you kind of do Halloween and Pirate Night on the same, the crush together.
Yes,
but they do it.
Yes, they do it. They do it as well as you can, and that's a great reason to come back or to do a longer sailing to get to enjoy more. I feel like this question was written for you. Annie's asking, would you do 4 nights on the Wish and concierge or 7 nights on the Treasure regular stateroom? I know. I know. But sold. That's the answer to every question. Do both.
I love concierge. I love both of those ships. See, this is really hard because I am a concierge girl. So I'm going to do concierge on the Wish all the time. I'm also going to try to do concierge on the Treasure. But if I'm not, I'm in love with that ship. So I would do the Treasure over the Wish.
Final answer.
Because it's 7 nights.
Yeah.
And because I'm in love with the Treasure.
Yes.
That's a hard one.
I know.
As soon as I saw friends on the Wish aren't I hope the friends on the Wish aren't watching this because they already think I'm dissing them.
Well, the Treasure
I'm not. I love you on the Wish.
Yes.
I love all my friends on the Wish. I'm sorry.
It's just the longer sailings. How can you say no?
It is. It's just all about my time on the ship. It really is.
Is there ever a time when you would choose a shorter sailing over a longer one? Would you ever choose a 4-night over a 5-night?
Oh, for scheduling, yeah. I mean, there are times I have to choose a 4-night over a 5-night, or because I rather be on the Wish to see people, or it's my schedule, honestly, that will drive that.
I feel like taking the longest cruise that your budget and schedule allow for. Like if you are, I know, right? You taught, like you only have so many days off. You've got responsibilities, kids, practices, and everything. Like if you can only do a 3-night cruise,
then that's what you can do. Like there should never be pressure. If you really can only afford a 3 or 4-night cruise, then that's what you do. I don't think the ship matters. You have a choice of 3-night cruises out of Fort Lauderdale or out of Port Canaveral. So some of the older And just because I say the word older doesn't mean the ship is in bad condition or
Yes.
worse, or it's just an older ship if you compare it to the Wish, who, by the way, is now 3 years old. So she's
Yes.
turning into the older ship as the new ones come out. So the older ships, Magic, Wonder, Dream, Fantasy, tend to price a 3-night cruise or a 4-night cruise in a less expensive
Yes.
price range, so that could drive you to that ship in that itinerary. So you have to look at all of these things when you're choosing your ship and itinerary, when you're looking at duplicate ships
Yes.
and itineraries.
That's such a good point. And as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? Disney's ships are like fine wine, right? Like they age so nicely. They are in the wine cellar at the perfect temperature. You were sitting on the rack at the perfect angle. Like older doesn't mean I can't stress that enough. And I wish people would stop
It's
thinking that
it's
older means
heartbreaking, and
yes.
unfortunately, there's no other way to talk about some of the ships. We
Yes.
call them classics. If I say classic, you should be thinking Magic Wonder.
Mhm.
If I say Dream Class, it's Fantasy Dream, but they're older.
Yes.
They're older ships now,
Yes. They're experienced. They're senior. I love it.
and there's nothing wrong with them, but they will
Yes.
give you the better price point. So if you come to me and you
Absolutely.
say, "I want a 4-night Bahamian cruise," we probably have 4 ships to choose from at any given time.
Yeah. And based on your budget, like Laura can price out the different options for you because not only are you choosing a ship, you're choosing like a stateroom category too. And it's
Right,
not just veranda. There's however many types of veranda staterooms. You know,
right.
it's a
And
it's a puzzle.
it is a puzzle, and again, this is how, we match the itinerary ship to the client/guest. slash guest.
Yes.
And it's not bad having 4 ships doing the same itineraries because it
Yeah.
gives you a larger choice.
Yes. There's more options with these things. It's not a bad thing because, like we said in the beginning, you can't choose a bad ship. And this question is one we got before, but Terry just submitted it now. Would you rather cruise out of Fort Lauderdale or out of Port Canaveral?
For me, I live right by Port Canaveral. I'm a 15-minute drive away. So for me, it's
So
easier to
jealous.
drive to Port Canaveral. However, Fort Lauderdale is a brand new building. They built it to look
Yes.
just like Port Canaveral. It is their own port. So I have no problem driving the 3 hours to Fort Lauderdale. I could even take the Bright Line. Um, I will put my clients out at either port. It's not a big deal. It
Yeah.
it it doesn't matter because it's just a mini version of Port Canaveral. The building looks the same, has the ears you walk through. It's the
Yes.
same setup. It's just on a little smaller scale, but it's the same. So
Yes.
it doesn't matter.
I was going to
Doesn't
say,
matter.
so I love Port Canaveral. It is the entrance to happiness, if you will, right? Like I hear Port Canaveral and I immediately, it's like euphoria. But with how I have to fly into Port and with how close Fort Lauderdale
Oh, it's so
port,
close.
the airport is to Port Everglades where you're sailing out of, it makes a big difference. So if you don't know, Port Canaveral is like a 50-ish minute, give or take, drive to MCO, which is Orlando's airport. So if you're flying in, having to factor in, okay, are you getting an Uber out there? Are you renting a car? Are you doing private transfers? I know, Laura, you have private transfer recommendations for your
Mhm.
clients that you can
Yeah.
offer. Um, but there's an additional step into planning. But it seems like people are really loving, I know I did, the convenience of Lauderdale to Everglades.
Oh, it's so easy. I
Yeah.
mean, they get off the plane all the hotels that are right there by port,
Yes,
um,
such a good
it's
point.
it's such, I mean, you're literally off the airplane. You could stay at the airport hotel, and it's like nothing to get to the port. It's 6 minutes away. It's literally nothing, um, which is so much different than MCO to Port Canaveral.
Yes.
It makes a
Uh,
huge difference.
Someone's asking, is there more to do around Port Canaveral or around Fort Lauderdale? Sorry, I almost said Fort Everglades. That's my bad.
I would say that, I mean, if you are staying in Port Canaveral, you're right there on Astronaut Boulevard. So you can, go to fish lips, you can watch the ships sail out, you can go to Cocoa Beach, you can
Yes.
go to NASA. It's right there. You can
So
go
cool.
to Cape Canaveral. If you go to Fort Lauderdale, you're right there, the Fort Lauderdale Strip, shopping, beaches. You can stay at one of the beach hotels. I know that DCL partners with the Marriott Harbor Beach, is where my parents took me growing up every winter.
Oh, that's
That was the hotel my
awesome.
parents took me to every Christmas vacation. That's where we went through New Year's.
That's
Um,
awesome.
we made friends there. So that's the hotel that Disney partners with there. So it's a beautiful beach hotel. So there's a difference. You can actually do, I think touring the Kennedy Space Center is an
Yeah.
amazing opportunity if you have time in Port Canaveral. But in Fort Lauderdale, there's shopping, there's eating, there's beaches. I mean, there's a typical, you're in
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I wish we had more time in Fort Lauderdale, but we usually stay around MCO, and I know a lot of people usually stay in Disney, but there's so much to do at Port Canaveral and Cocoa Beach, and I think is it Discovery Cove that's out there? I think I've seen
Discovery
commercials
Cove is
for
in
is that
Orlando, and
oh,
by SeaWorld. By
SeaWorld.
SeaWorld.
Okay, yep. So there's so much to do, and again, every family is going to be different. Your kids might have zero interest in doing NASA. You might want them to day at the beach. You might just want to sit down because you've had a long travel day, and the last thing you want to do is anything but watch TV, and that's fine too. There are no bad options. And somebody asked, what hotel was it again that you stayed at?
Marriott Harbor Beach.
Of that. And then I haven't heard anything about this one, about Disney having a private location on the West Coast. I haven't heard any inklings of that one.
No inklings.
Yeah, but never say never, but
Who know? I mean, I don't know. We haven't heard anything.
I'd say if it was up to me,
Are
Disney
there
would have,
islands out there to buy? I don't know. I don't.
yeah, but if it was up to me, Disney would have a private stop everywhere on the whole world, and we could just do a world cruise to Disney places.
Exactly.
Be great. And then let's see, Tanya's asking, I would love to know more about 4 and 5 night cruises on the Wonder. Is there a pirate night?
There's always pirate nights in the Caribbean and in the
Yeah.
Bahamas. There aren't always pirate nights. There's never a pirate night in Alaska,
But
and never.
Australia,
Yes.
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 Yeah.
Australia, yes, if that's what she's asking.
Yeah. But yeah, never,
Never
ever.
Alaska.
Yes. So 4 nights. Is the Wonder doing 4 nights in Alaska, or are they still doing
No,
7?
there's
No.
7. There was one 5 night, but
Okay.
other than that, they're doing 7 nights.
Yeah, I wonder, I feel like it's another ship that doesn't get the love and attention that it deserves. Like, it's such a great ship. Tiana's
Oh,
so
it's a fabulous ship.
yes, yes. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
they don't get love. The
I
classics
know.
don't get love.
I know. Not appreciated like they should be. And then do we know if any of the new ships are coming to Galveston?
We don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm sure one of them has to come through eventually. Never
Yes.
say never.
Yeah, at some
Anything I
point,
say is just speculation because they don't tell us boo. We'll know
yeah.
when the new itineraries release.
I was gonna say I think it's nice that Disney is growing. The fact that so many of the ships are in Florida says something, but I know I would love to see them do more ports. I know people are still asking about New York. People are begging Disney to have a ship out on the West Coast permanently. Our European friends want to have ships out there. So as the ship grows, or as the fleet grows, like Laura said, never
I
say never.
Yeah, never say never. You can almost
Yeah.
say never to New York, but
Yeah.
I can't
And
say never to Galveston.
And then Samantha is asking, I'm in Virginia. If I'm going to fly around the world, would I do an adventure cruise or a wonder cruise?
Well, if you do an adventure cruise, you're going to sail nowhere but out to sea.
Good
So
point. Very
if
good
you're going to
point.
fly all the way out there, I would make plans after or before your cruise to the ocean and back because you won't see much. I would say you'd probably get more out of Australia. I'm
Yeah.
just that's my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like reach out to Laura and have that conversation because Singapore, from what I've heard, is a beautiful and amazing place. And the mega ship is, if you're used to sailing on Disney ships, this is a whole new
This is
ball game.
this is not a Disney ship. I've been selling it and it is not a Disney ship. I mean, it's a beautiful ship. I'm not saying it's not a beautiful ship. It's just not what you're used to. It's ginormous. It holds a lot. It was built for this market. Or I should say it was purchased for this market.
Yeah.
It is definitely not coming here.
Yeah. It's a different experience. And if you are somewhat right, like Laura and I are ship people, we could stay on the ships and just relax and chill and be on board. We could easily do that. But if you're going to make the trip all the way there, what do you want from your travels, right? Like, do you want to see
Yeah,
Australia?
like if you
Like,
want to see things out there, then you'd want to do definitely something pre-cruise because these cruises are just to be on that ship. That's really what it is, to see the ship.
oh my gosh. That ship. Yeah. And I can't even imagine. I feel like I would feel so lost on the mega ship, but I know it's exciting, right? Like people are going on them on Royal all the time and loving them. So there's something to it, but
There's something
I'm
to
nervous
it.
to try it
I just
eventually.
don't see it.
Yeah.
Not for
Oh my
me.
goodness. Well, speaking of things that we do love, are there any itineraries that you really have your eyes on or you think are super special, that are maybe available for this summer that, for anyone again who has not planned or booked their summer or even winter? Oh, that question did come up. Winter
Well,
2026 coming out. We don't know. I know. Everybody's
well,
asking. I know. Surprise, breaking
hey
news right
Bob.
now. I know.
Um,
They
if
don't.
I were to banter a guess,
Yes.
because I can guess, but please don't go out there going, Laura said.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that we'll see them in the summertime.
Yeah.
It I would maybe June, July, if we're
Yeah.
lucky. Who knows? I'm
Yeah.
hoping for
I'd love them to be out tomorrow. We would all
I
love that.
I would really love them to be out, but and then the beginning of 2027 is in there too. So
That's
who
right.
who knows what they're cooking?
Yes. And
We might
especially,
see new itineraries, but they're coming.
yeah.
They are coming. They have to drop soon. I
Yes.
say in another month or two. So
Yeah.
hang on. They're coming. Watch the page. If you're
Yeah.
on my mailing list, watch your emails. I get that out as soon as I see the word. So keep
And
watching the pages.
I was gonna say, if you are like, why do people care so much about when these itineraries drop? Why should somebody book like right away? Is there any reason? I know
Yeah.
we got the question today. Do prices get better as the cruise gets closer?
No, they don't get
No.
better when they get closer. They get more expensive as the cruise gets closer. The best time to book for the best price is the day the itinerary launches.
Yeah.
So it's in that first booking week. And of course, it goes Pearl, Platinum, Gold, Silver, General. But
Mhm.
within that first booking window is when the prices are the best. So that's why everybody is chomping at the bit because they know they want to book at the end of 2026, and that's what they're waiting for.
Yeah,
So
especially those holiday ones. People love sailing around the holidays, so definitely lock that in. And especially if you have a specific stateroom type that you want, because
and I
Laura will tell
think
you
they're waiting for the return Panama Canal. I think that's what everybody is waiting for.
that Panama Canal itinerary lasted
It
what,
was
like 3 and a
gone.
half seconds? Yes. Is so
It was
popular.
gone. So I'm
And then
expecting the same thing.
yes, agreed. It's just so popular. I would love to see Disney keep that one in regular rotation like they used to. But we'll make this the last question. But Parker is asking, would you do a 4-night Christmas cruise or a 4-night Halloween cruise?
Me, Halloween.
Mm. Because you like Halloween?
Because I'm a Halloween fan
Yeah,
and not so much Christmas fan.
yeah. I think for me, I love Christmas time. However, I'm also a beach bum, and the weather's probably gonna be a little bit warmer, a little bit nicer. We had, like, perfect weather on our October cruise a couple years ago, so I would probably lean Halloween as well
I
for
just
the
like getting
beach.
into costume.
Oh, there
And
you
since
go. Yep.
Christmas starts on Halloween now, or sometimes now in September,
Yeah.
I'm over the holiday season. So I don't celebrate Christmas.
There
So
you
I'm a
yep.
Hanukkah girl.
Yes.
So I don't need to have any more Christmas in my life. I do. I think it's a beautiful time of year, but it starts way too early for me. So I
Yeah.
just by the time we get to the very maritime cruises, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get on that ship now. They are beautiful though.
Yeah.
I've
The
sailed them before.
decorations.
I think that for people who love Christmas, that is the sailing. They are beautiful. Santa's there. If that is
Yes.
your thing, hands down, do it. But if you are
Yeah.
Halloween at heart, Halloween is for you.
The way that they decorate those ships for Christmas,
It's
I mean, the
gorgeous.
Halloween is great too, but Christmas theming to me is just impeccable. It's so good. I love their costumes. I love the costumes for Halloween too. Really, again, you can't go wrong. You
Yeah,
can't go
go
wrong.
wrong.
Just do
I
both.
mean, you can dress up. Yes, I see this. Can you enjoy Halloween cruises without dressing in Of course. You
Yeah.
can do anything you want. You don't have to be in costume. You can be in costume. But it's the
Yeah.
only time adults get to really
Yeah.
do it up.
Yes. And I was gonna so I know on our cruise, we weren't quite sure how much people dressed up our Halloween cruise a couple of years ago. So I just, had on a polka dot dress and mini ears, but I wish that I had gone more all out, but there were still plenty of people who just wore their regular cruise casual
Oh,
clothes
yeah.
and had just as much fun. Like, it's your vacation. Do what makes you happy, Robin.
They either dress to the nines
Yes.
or they're good in their shorts. It's
Yes.
like that you're here or
No,
you're
yeah.
here. There's like
Nothing wrong with either one. Nope.
it's your cruise. There's no rules. There's absolutely no rules. Just can't wear masks. There's that rule.
Yes, that is an important one. And then also an important one is remembering to transfer your placeholder to your travel agent within
That's
30
right.
days because
That's
that one has
right.
been coming up more and more. So if you book a placeholder on board, make sure you transfer that to your travel advisor, to Laura, to whoever you're working with within 30 days so you can get their help because otherwise Disney blocks them out and there's nothing she can do to help. But
No.
this was so fun. I feel like there's so many good choices,
There
right?
really
Like,
are. You really can't go wrong. Just
yes, yes,
don't stress. Don't get overwhelmed by the choices. Ask for help. Um,
yes,
and it's really the same itineraries. You're just picking the vessel
yeah,
that you prefer, and you can't choose unwisely.
yeah. And I know
And
you could,
I say try something new. There's so many people
yes,
who
agree.
like, I have my favorite ship and I am not going to try a new one. This is the time to try a new one. It's a
That is
ship. They're all beautiful.
such a good point. You're going to have the Disney level service on all of them. And, it's cool that I love the shows on the fantasy. I could watch Aladdin a million times over. I could watch Believe a million times over. But it's so nice getting to go on the different ships and see new performances, meet new crew from around the world, try new foods, right? Like I hadn't had the cantina until I sailed on the Wish.
Oh,
Like it's an awesome thing to have. So there's little nuances. And if
and
you're
there's different shows on different ships. Everybody's like, "Oh, I keep going on. I see the same show." Well, you don't have to. You can try a different ship. Did you know
yeah,
Moana, Tale of Moana is epic and it's on the Treasure? Like every ship features a different show. So
yes,
try a new ship.
it's okay. I promise. I know that sometimes people feel like they're abandoning their favorites. Trust me, I get it. I
I
totally
get
understand.
it.
Yes. But it is worth it to try something new. Your favorite ship is not going anywhere for the next 12 to 18 months. We're all kind of waiting to see what Disney's going to be doing with all these other ships, but
I
you are going to be in good
suspect we'll
hands.
see I suspect we'll see maybe some changes in December for this next release.
I know. We almost need like a prediction. Like Vegas needs to start taking bets on when
Take
things are going
bets.
to happen. Yes.
Well,
Oh my
I
God.
bet the fantasy is landing somewhere else. That's my bet. I have no knowledge. I
Yes.
just am betting that the fantasy is landing somewhere else.
If she could land in my yard and just stay here forever, I think that would be great. But I don't know. I think I need more ocean for that. Right now I'm zero. But a girl can dream. A girl can dream. This was so fun. Thank you
Always fun.
so much for hanging out. If you are ready to start planning your Disney cruise, if you are overwhelmed with the options, if you are like, what the heck is a Halloween on the high seas, Marvel Day at sea? What is Lookout? Where is Castaway? Reach out to Laura. She is here to help. As you can tell, she loves Disney cruising and she loves helping you not stress because there's no reason to. You should just get to enjoy your vacation. So reach out to her. Her planning services are free and she is here to help you so that you can just relax and enjoy your cruise. Laura, thank you so much again.
Of course, anytime. This is so much fun.
Agreed. Oh, and we will see all y'all on board real soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.